As we grew, the culture huko Eastlands ilikuwa gang. Lazima tu kuwe kwa gang fulani ndio utangaze ufalme.
Yes.
And I saw a lot of my friends getting killed. Kulikuwa na vita ile unaona friends wanapigana tu risasi hivi, wengine wanashikia na visu. Things zenye mnaona kwa TV zilikuwa tu live. Yeah, someone can just come hang around you guys na wako na guns. Unashanga we? Oh, pombe sigara, naweza wacha bila kungangana, lakini hawa sichana manze vile nawapenda ni kama laana. And imagine by the time I was releasing pombe sigara, okay, finish.
Good job.
So that was our decision, that we just keep it on the low until we are both ready to be known. And again, you know, it affects our brands in a way. You know, we like to still continue to be Nviiri, the ladies man, Bwana Pombe Sigara, Bwana Single Boy.
Yeah.
Dynamics change. Yeah, and for her, will she continue still being the same role model?
Yeah.
I'm a nini. Now I'm still the young YouTube shorty. I'm a now fully grown up woman. You know, dynamics really change.
Yeah. Hello and a warm welcome to Tuko Talks. My name is Lynn Gugi. Now, my guest today is the true definition of there is no shortcut in life unless you put in the work. He is behind some of the most amazing songs that we have today in the country.
She's a heartbreak. Oh, yeah. She bend over backbreak.
And his story is definitely going to inspire you. And so without further ado, please allow me to let him introduce himself. Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Tasa.
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Man,
how about you?
It's nice to have you on the show. Hi, please introduce yourself.
I go by the name of Nviiri the Storyteller.
Yeah.
Nviiri baby, the Storyteller, eh? Yeah. Singer, songwriter.
Yeah.
Performing artist,
Yeah.
entertainer. You're excited? Keep calm.
I'm excited. I'm
Hey,
excited.
this is going to be an interesting show.
Yes, yeah.
Video producer, video editor, you know, and someone's son,
Yes.
a brother.
Yeah.
And Mkenya mwenzenyu.
Mkenya mwenzetu.
Yes.
Man, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your song is still pale trending.
Manze.
Uko sawa?
Niko sawa.
Kabisa?
Uko sawa.
Niko sawa.
Sasa uko sawa.
Tulichoanza tumalize.
Tumalize basi.
Wow. You know, first, thanks so much for even coming on the show. It's been a dream for me to host you because first, I respect you. I respect your work ethic. And I was just telling you before we started, I was seeing some of your behind, you know, ISO BTS, things people don't get to see. Because now people see, this is Nviiri. Mimi ni nani? Usicheze na timu yangu.
Kuna watu watafutwa kazi.
Hakuna watu. And I was, you know, you are so like, I'm like, if he can come from here to here, then this is truly inspirational. Able to take us through your story growing up.
Yeah, Nviiri growing up, my mom used to be the visionary in the family. Yeah, we moved from up country to Nairobi when we were very young.
Where is up country?
Up country ilikuwa Busia. It was the Uganda and Busia border.
Okay.
So there are times Tuko Uganda, sometimes Tuko Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then at some point we decided to move huko. You know, greener pastures. But all through, my mom has been with that mindset of my kids are going to be the best. They're going to grow to wine and dine amongst kings, you know. Shule hata kama kuna cash, watu wakienda public and I make sure mnaingia private. You know?
Yeah.
There's a time to that tulikuwa tunaishi Eastlands, said Kayole. But my mom would force us muonge English. Ukitoka nje, etiquette. Kuna vile unakula tuna fork and spoon.
Yeah. You lived in Kayole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did.
God.
Yeah. the way you articulate yourself, the way you dress, and that kind of nurtured our brain into who we've become right now for me and my brother. Yeah, so shule tukaingia private school.
Yeah.
And of course, when you see the effort that your parent puts in, hautaki kumdisappoint.
Exactly.
I mean, we only have each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pia alikuwa anatulazimisha sana kwenda church.
Sunday best lazima mngeva.
Ile hadi ukikosea, we've had funny stories at home where ukikosea my mom, instead of kukupiga na kukelesha chini na kuombea.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I'm a teenager but I feel humiliated. Niko tu hapo mbona naombewa sina mashitani mimi.
Yeah.
Nimekaa tu nje nikicheza futa for an extra 2 hours. Mbona niombe juu hiyo? You get, but later on is when I understood.
Yeah.
For her everything was a spiritual battle. You know, once you win the battle mentally and spiritually, in the physical realm hakuna kitu inakushtua.
I love that.
Yeah, so these are things that zilikuja ku unfold later to who I am right now, and thanks to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know, would you consider yourself a troubled teenager? Were you the kind mwenye mi mom huwezi niambia chochote ama you were reserved?
Okay, with my mama hukuwa na option.
Why?
Mwiko zimevunjika kwa mgongo yetu kadhaa, so we didn't have that option.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that she'd back her actions with also just empowering us, ilikuwa, we all were on the same mindset. We knew that we were fighting the problem, not each other. Yeah.
And growing up in Kayole, of course, you understand the surrounding, and it's important because I mean, nimetoka Islando, so I get sometimes the peer pressure and the surrounding you come from. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
How are you able to navigate the surrounding and still, you know, maintain a clear mindset? I know where I'm going in life.
Of course, hizo temptations ziko kibao, especially not necessarily just temptations, but it's just a way of fitting into that community. Ukikuwa outcast hapo kumeharibika ni vita. Yeah, so the one thing that used to unify all of us ilikuwa sports.
Okay.
So tuwanga na specific place tunacheza futa.
Yeah.
Watu from this side, hii area ingine tunakuja tunapata na futa. Of course vita zinatokea tunapigana, you'd hear watu wametoana damu in the middle of the game.
Yes.
Kuna beef. And you know, as we grew, the culture huko Islands ilikuwa gang. Lazima tu kuwe kwa gang fulani ndio utangaze ufalme.
Yes.
Yeah, other than that, how we exist, you just, ni venye prisons majuu lazima tu kuwe kwa, if you're whites mko huko, blacks, Mexicans.
Yeah.
So still got tunajisegregative according to our football teams. And then we became closer, we became stronger, but sasa unasikia kuna watu fulani wa B3 hao usiwaguze.
Yeah.
Kuna sijui watu wengine wanaitwa Gaza, usiguze hao. Kuna, so we even would like to come up with our own names ile pia mnatishia watu.
Yeah.
But this time I was let me say I was living a double life. Because while I'm out in the streets with my brother and other people, I'm the gangster that I am.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm back in the house, hizo mchezo wezi letea my mom.
Yes. You are the church kid.
I'm the church kid. I'm focused. When need be, I can read. I work at home. Silikuwa nafanya house chores vizuri sana. Hatusumbuani. And when we're supposed to be in the house, we are in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you balance. Hapo njo, it just go to a point I can't be serving two masters
at the same time.
Yeah. And okay, enough is enough. I can't live. Like, clearly this is not the lifestyle I want. And I saw a lot of my friends getting killed. Kulikuwa na vita ile unaona friends wanapigana tu risasi hivi, wengine wanashikia na visu. Things zenye mnaona kwa TV zilikuwa tu live. Yeah. Someone can just come hang around you guys na wako na guns. Unashanga where? So it's a life I never really wanted.
Yeah.
And after all, I still remember the bigger goal, you know, and where I was headed. So that time, ikakuwa, it was this fateful day I was in church with my friends. Then during a conversation, kuna mtu akasema, everything in life is just about your perspective and your state of mind. If you tell your mind that you're this way, you'll end up being that way. Nikaona, okay, food for thought. And from that day, I just changed my whole circle. Yeah. If I need to hang around with people, I chill with people who challenge me. And I was yearning more to get more gigs, more work, just to occupy my mind.
Yeah.
Na pia nikaanza kujipicture sasa mimi si ule Nviiri wa Kayole.
Yeah.
Okay, nilikuwa naitwa Sunday.
Sunday.
Mimi si Sunday ule wa Kayole. mimi sasa ni mtu amemake it. So watu wakidandia matatu ati that's the in thing. Mimi ndio nimetulia kwa double M.
You see, that's not me.
Kwanza kwa double M mtu ameingia anasoma gazeti, pia mimi nimeingia hadi niko na gazeti yangu hapo ndani.
Oh yeah?
Nimefungua business news.
Yes.
You know, yeah. I started enjoying that silence and peace. And still luckily for me, my brother bado alikuwa huko kwa gang.
Yeah.
Meaning I was somehow protected. Nikitoka nje hata vile nimetulia kukiona vurugu, niko na bro mwingine gangster hapa mwezi hata niguza.
Yeah.
Mwezi nisumbua
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me enough time to transition from who I was to who I want to become.
Yes. And who did you want to become?
I want to become someone that really inspires, someone really respectable in the community, and someone living a life. Me nilikuwa tunataka too powerful yani. Nikaitu hivi msema yenyewe. Jamaa yenyewe ame to inspire mali yako yenye I'd want to get there. Because I always believed there are new levels to conquer. Kama mnaona mtu ako juu yangu, I want to
I want to get there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about music. At what age did you realize, you know what, I'm passionate about music?
When we were kids, I remember we used to listen to a lot of Celine Dion, Luther Vandross. Then kwa nyumba ile ulikuwa unamka, my old man anacheza hiyo, house help, my mom, tulikuwa tunasikiza tu music.
Yeah.
And they were so sweet. Unajua hizo classics za kitambo, they were mostly melodic.
Beautiful.
Unasikiza wimbo hadi una feel tu emotion, unapata tu umezone out.
Yes.
But I didn't know that it was just getting into my system. Hadi nikiwa class, I remember some point in primary, nilikuwa tu na niko tu the whole class I'm humming. Alafu nje una notice haya, by the way, hapo watu wanafanya homework. Kila mtu anatani ni wewe anaangalia. And subconsciously you're doing it without knowing. Haujui physically that's what you're doing. And high school, of course, high school kila mtu ni msanii.
Yeah.
High school, every single human being.
Where did you go to high school?
Ditches.
Aya, Dagoretti.
Manze Dago.
Wewe. All right.
Msianze kunijudge. Watu wakisikia ditches wanaanza kujudge.
No.
And again, the story behind it here was a lot of artists walitoka Dago, akina KJ,
yes,
akina Waire, you know, and we had a band yenye inapiga horns, kuna drama school, kuna music, and the school was known to go for nationals during all these competitions. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Nimejipata hapa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nikaanza kujoin hizo clubs. During prep time, all we do is just make music. Tunaanza tulikuwa na session fulani, tulikuwa tumejifunza, me and my gang.
Yes.
We made a session where it's an entertainment session. 10 minutes ama 20 minutes before prep ishe, tunaeka open market sasa. Kama ni msanii kuja uji express, kuna watu wanakuja na freestyle, and it was fun because guys were creative. Unapatia mtu kijiko.
Yeah.
Rap kuhusu kijiko.
Okay.
So, kijiko, mwiko, nini, komba mwiko, nini. Nisema, So I wasn't good at rhyming. Me nikiitwa, I just sing.
Okay.
I honestly didn't have the voice to sing.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You did not have the voice to sing?
I did not have the voice.
You did not, ama you did not know you had the voice?
I did not.
Okay.
So this is where people need to understand.
Yeah.
Kuna watu naturally anaweza imba. I was not those people.
Sorry. Hold up. Sorry. This is the part.
Bwana Edi tu umeshika ndege.
Huyo. Twende. Yeah.
What was I saying?
There are people who know.
There are people who were born with a good voice.
Yes.
Mimi, on the other hand, not at any point.
Sikuamini kwa nini?
Unaona hizi funny auditions mnaona kwa idols na hizi zenye watu wanaimba kienyeji. I was one of those human beings who doesn't have a voice. But I believed in my passion more. I'd wake up, I just start singing. Before bed, I sing. And tukiwa hivi tunapiga story, I sing just to see, hey, hivyo iziko ama iko. Because there's no way. At that point, actually, I started writing. Since watu wangekuja mbele ku freestyle.
Yes.
Since I don't have that power to freestyle, I'd write things down, I write. Then by the time watu wanamaliza, I wake up and present it. Just to keep up with these people.
Yeah.
Because I'm a singer, people are rappers. Marapa, inulia mkono. So I resorted to having writing songs, good melodies, then how about I look for someone who can sing?
Okay.
Nimpatie song.
We.
Unajua ina flow. Msanii hapa ni mbaya sasa. Juice ina flow. I tried a couple of friends of mine to sing it out.
Yeah.
But the way they represent it, ama kui translate, haiko inanifurahisha. Then I sat back and I asked myself one question. Could I be given all these gifts only for me not to be able to handle it? Siwezi kuwa naweza andika, naweza come up na melody na siwezi deliver.
Yes. How?
Yeah. So nikama okay, acha tu nijifunze. Every time naimba, I'm asking people how to sing better, and at that time honestly advice ilikuwa tapoa zilikuwa bure. Ukitaka kuimba poa, kunywa maji moto, warm. Na ndimu.
Yeah. Garagaria.
Exactly. So human beings are very funny. They always clench to the slightest bit of hope. Ukiambo ukiguza inyazi una heal, utaishikilia, trust me. So mimi mambo maji na chumvi ama na lemon njina kufanya kuwa na sauti poa. Diligently every morning kwa breakfast, mimi kwanza nimeenda kwa section ya special diet, naitisha maji yangu na
lemon.
And as I'm doing that, na kuimba, but I'm not seeing any changes. Nisema hizi kwa that obvious. Kila mtu basi angekuwa naimba, honestly. Yeah, that's definitely not the thing. That there's one passenger akaniambia, just keep on singing, is like a muscle, at some point itafunguka.
Wow.
Nikasema okay, that makes sense considering I'm a very logical person. I mean, I'm technical. If something does not make sense,
it does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense, honestly. You have to break it down. Me, out of New Zealand theory, I exist. I'll question it. So that's the one thing. Okay, that makes sense. If the vocal cords are a muscle, that appear I was reading about it.
Yeah.
So okay, then I shall take my time. And sasa, I really learned how to be patient with that. It got to a point where I even forgot about how good or bad my voice was. Diligently just did it every single day.
You put in the work.
And that's I kept on telling people, the people who want to join music right now and who would like to sing, if at all I don't see you putting in that effort, who am I to help you, honestly? Your passion should be able to carry you through such times. Because kuna times vitu ziko tough, there's no money, there's no resources, there's no one who's listening to you.
No one is cheering you.
No one will cheer you, not even your own family.
Yes.
How will you cheer yourself? It's just that passion.
Yeah.
So nilisahau kabisa, that's what I'm doing. So nikiu muscle memory. I know when I wake up, I sing. When I do this, I sing. When I do that, I sing. And before I knew it, voice ikaanza tu make sense. And I used to compare myself a lot with a lot of musicians online. At that time, P-Square wameshika. These are temptation.
We got into confusion.
Nasikia imekuwa emotional, mamanzi wanaisha wakisikia hiyo kitu nasema, yeah, storyteller, that's your cue. Endo ufanye hiyo kitu. Yes. I try to sing it pia mimi. Neo, kwanza I used to love Neo because he had that smooth voice. Said I'm so sick of love songs. Mimi huyo ndani.
Akiendelea kidogo.
Ndakupigia concert hapo utashtuka.
Ukweli.
Definitely there was a huge contribution with Akina Chris Brown.
Okay.
I always wanted that raspy voice, the way it flows, those notes when yanazihit, when yanakatu poa.
Yes.
So, and funny enough, right now, with a couple of songs that I do, zile R&B sounding like, watu wananiambia is somewhat close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand where the influence came from, and I still love it. Justin Bieber also sounds the same.
Yes.
I can try songs.
Yeah.
Kuna hiyo voice inakuanga, and I love it.
Okay.
So, hiyo ndio benchmark yangu.
Yeah.
Followed through to it, and eventually I just started writing my own songs, and I'm the one singing them.
Yes.
I'm writing them and I'm singing them.
Yeah. You never at all went to a music school to learn the instruments. You are self-taught.
Yeah. I did try to, especially the vocals, I did try to have a vocal class.
Yeah.
But like I told you, ukiuse your theories as it makes sense.
Wachana nazo.
I did these classes for, I think, 2 weeks. That must have been like 3 sessions only.
Yeah.
Nikona hapana. Though I trained myself is much better, considering I know my voice, kuna vitu ambia nifanye. But according to my understanding, there are voices that can do that, others can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that yeye hajaanza na kudifferentiate hizo vitu, Nikaachana tu nao.
So the pianos, all those, the guitars you taught yourself?
Nilijifunza tu. Nilichukua tu keyboard. This is the first time my mom amebuy laptop, ameka kwa nyumba, ameconnect internet. Of course the first ideas ni kuanza ku download movies, games, nini. But for me ilikuwa tu I paid for my first guitar and ikatengenezwa na mtu. I remember I paid 1,500 for it. Guitar, I think ilikuwa tushana tu hivi.
Yeah.
Like a small guitar this round. And the strings ziko, hey, hata ukifinya na kidole they can literally cut you. Imetengenezwa vikienyeji kabisa.
Yeah.
It does not make any sense. Hata ukitune it unique, but I have a guitar. So nilikuwa najifunza nayo injo chord, ni fret, ni A. This is how you do a major chord, minor. So at that point ndio my mom alikuwa anasikia hizo visanga naona huyu ajidanganyi.
Yes.
You know those moments when unasikia mtu anafanya kitu ufala sana but huwezi mwambie huko.
Usi hurt feelings zake.
Yeah. But at that time she was seeing the storyteller in that ground roots level, trying now to build himself into something. Those were the roots nilikuwa naziweka chini.
Yeah.
And you know that's where the dirty work is. Mtu akiona hiyo time of your life, mtu anaona hapa.
Yeah.
No one appreciates that level. She could see all that.
Yeah.
But she respected it. Outside, watu walikuwa wananicheka, watu walikuwa wanaona vitu nafanya na sasa, sikia venye jamaa na sound, sikia venye jamaa anang'ang'ana, sikia. Sasa zingine unapiga note unaimba off, watu wanacheka tu.
Yeah.
But I was training myself
You
and
are.
it was funny. Trust me, for other people it was funny.
Yeah.
But the moment sasa storyteller alikuwa unleashed, I honestly got calls and texts from people who I used to know back then akisema we honestly thought this was a joke. Ukipita tu na gitaa yako hapa hiyo mbovu, ukipiga kelele kwa room, ukiwa kwa bathroom unaimba, ukiwa kwa office unapiga kelele. We thought it was all a joke. But look at you, nimefunga tu TV one day na kuona hapo.
Yeah.
Na una perform. Nikasema
yes.
I'm glad nime-inspire mtu for him to see that difference. Acha iwe funzo. Iwe funzo.
Yeah.
But during this whole session, I was kind of forced to sing, to perform, because people knew I could sing. Nikasukuma tu ile kijana.
Yeah.
Today lazima. Kwanza nilikuwa tu ambushed. And Nviiri kwenda stage microphone. Nikaimba kiasi.
Yeah.
Kasikia hey! Lakini kuchocheka hii ilikuwa ukweli.
Yeah.
Juu at this point I already knew I sound good.
Yes.
Nikaimba kidogo, kumbe there was someone who heard me sing. Akatuma message through a friend akisema, okay, we have auditions coming up and this guy would be a perfect fit. It's a band. Mnalipo kwanza kuwa hapo, you get to travel. If he wants to be an artist, that's the best platform.
Yes.
You can see how things zinajialign too. Nikaona okay, sawa, I'll try out the auditions. Mimi naingia auditions kama msanii. Nimechukua gitaa na imba R&B. Kumbe it was an audition for gospel band. So they do praise and worship, they do praise and worship mostly.
Yeah.
Na mimi nilidhani ni band, mimi naingizwa kwa band, sasa mimi niko band leader, naimba, niko na wabijivi zangu na instrumentalist.
Yes.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
Kuenda audition kapata kumbe it's a teamwork. Na hii audition watu wanaimba. I've never been that intimidated in my entire life.
Yeah.
Unakaa hivi watu alafu mtu anaimba you are Alpha and Omega. Inaenda kwa we worship you alone. Inaenda hivi. Alafu sasa watu wanaimba unaambwa while wanaimba unaambwa upige solo hapo juu, upige maranzi ufanye nini. Jasho jembamba nang'ang'ana. Of course it was evident on nenyewe jamaa nang'ang'ana.
Yes.
Ajazoi maisha ya church.
Yeah.
But at that time najiforce to nang'ang'ana because I figured the fact that nimekuwa selected kwa hii group
it means
something. Yeah, it means something. So it's no reason for me to give up. As a matter of fact, itafaa kunimotivate, I do better.
Yeah.
We ended up doing a South Korean tour.
Okay.
With this band for 3 good months.
Wow.
Msanii ni kuamka kuimba, unakula, unapiga show.
Ni kazi.
Back to back.
Ni kazi.
Ni kazi, but you know you love it.
Yeah.
I'm living my dream without knowing. This was the end goal. I always wanted to be this person. And without knowing it, niko hapo.
Yes.
Ile maisha nilikuwa nangoja, lazima ni make it kina Sauti Sol huko juu ndio nianze kushare life. kwa hii ground level nishaanza kuishi hivyo.
Yeah.
I've flown out of the country. Niko na managing team yangu hadi niko kwa are you okay? Do you need anything? Niko kijana wa Kayole anatafutiwa maji. Ai. You know, I was so excited, but again, that is something you don't want to lose.
Yes.
So you keep working on it harder and harder. Hadi tulikuwa na threads, ukichoma picha huko Korea tunakutuma Nairobi via pipeline.
Hivyo tu.
Very fast.
Fast.
Yeah, so we were well behaved. We were doing all these shows, but I became groomed into another human being. Mimi ule nilirusha tu kwa stage yangu ya kwanza, pap, almost 2,000-3,000 people. Na hawajui nini unasema.
Yeah.
Kwa hapo mbele wamenyamaza tu. So I learned a bit of Korea.
Yes.
Annyeonghaseyo. I learned Korea. Annyeonghaseyo. That's how you doing.
Yes.
Nviiri yo. I'm just introducing myself. Some of these words may sound bad.
Yeah.
You see how people are amazed when I don't get their foreign language. Go, okay. Tuna connect hapa.
Yeah.
Then we start singing our African songs. Tuko na makonga, tuko na nini, we're performing. Guys are getting amazed. You could even see people crying. Watu wamekam na gifts. People are getting touched.
Yeah.
Niko, this hip-hop music is on another level. You know, and the fact that we can, there's a language barrier, but it still cuts across.
Yes.
Niko, see God, man. Who would have thought?
No would have thought.
And we got exposed to a lot.
Yeah, a boy from Kayole.
A boy from Kayole, uko
right
hapo.
now in Korea.
Because there's a Korean who was telling us,
Yes.
You guys must be big celebrities in Africa. And Kambia, hey, why so? You know, yesterday I saw you guys with the senator. You guys always have a convoy of cars. The restaurants you guys eat in zile bigi. Niko, ay. Of course, for me, I wouldn't tell. Korea yote inakakali.
Yes.
But kumbe, that's how we were moving. Tulikuwa na head of Hyundai.
Yeah.
There's a guy who actually is funding JQuat Maritime, the course, Marine. Hadi wana donate ship.
Yo.
Yani una sit na ma heavy tuko, okay. So I had one close friend of mine called Gordon Udumulo.
Yes.
He's still my producer till today.
Yeah.
Nikaka nikaangalia Udumulo. Juu pia Udumulo ametoka Ronga. Tumetoka hiyo life ya hustle pamoja. Nikamwambia, bro. I don't believe tunaweza kuwa tumenyeshwa hii life yote turudi Kenya kusafa. You get what I mean? Kusema, you never know. Watu wengi wamekuja hii trip wakarudi home, wakarudi tu mali walikuwa. Nikisema, for real, kusema sawa. A couple of days later nikamwambia, we are almost finishing this tour, but I'm telling you guys my life will not change.
Yes.
Hivi vile niko hapa hivi ndio ndaishi. Ile for your pizza, galitos, kuku, nini, una drive you around, it won't change.
Yes.
I didn't know how, but the fact that pia nilijipata hapa without knowing how I'll get here, I just had the dream.
You were destined for something big.
Yeah. Coming back, our offices zilikuwa Lavington.
Yeah.
Immediately I presented myself, because where we used to do the rehearsals, they had a studio. It was a whole entertainment company.
Yeah.
Nikajipresent tena. Nviiri, singer-songwriter pa huko Pakawa, and I'm a videographer, by the way. Sema, so mkitaji kazi yote ya production munite. Na pia usanii, nitapiga. Nikasema, okay, sawa. Gordon is a music producer. Gordon pia kajiintroduce kama msanii nini. But then, see God, akatuweka tu at that same point, these guys from the studio, wako na kazi mingi backlog, wameshinda kumaliza. But they were also supposed to go to South Korea for team building for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Clients wanaekia pressure.
Yeah.
Mimi ni nani? Mnataka ni editing? No, I've edited big videos mimi. And I'm very fast. Najua hii kazi.
Big videos.
Mimi nataka nikushikia light na ulikuwa na shoot ya Willy Paul, mimi nasema nilikuwa I'm part of the production team, which is actually the truth. Because I have contributed in big projects.
Yes.
And niko serious.
Yeah.
Just like that, nikapewa kazi ya editing.
Yes.
But since these guys are flying out, see God. Umepewa nyumba Lavington, iko na office, hapo kando kuna recording studio yenye nimekuwa nikitafuta all my life, kunayo hapo kando, state of the art. Gordon, my best friend, pia amekuwa hapo kando afanye production. Then it was a loop.
Yeah.
But this was also me paying my 10,000 hours.
Yes.
Because inside the studio we sing all the time, we record. So their video production tuna shoot. So after these guys came back from South Korea, studio ikakuwa open. Nikajua studio manze ni kubwa. In that all the big artists used to come there for rehearsals. Alikiba kikuja Kenya anaingia hapo. Aloy Black from the UK anakuja, ako ndani. Sauti Sol wanakuja, wako ndani. Niko, wait a minute. Kumbe tuko tu amongst all these people here. Yani hao ni watu tulikuwa tunaona kwa TV, unawafuata, unashanga utafikaje hiyo level. All of a sudden umekaa tu chini, unaona ndo hao hapa, they're just moving around where you are, wanakugotea ni aje Nviiri. So the much I did was just sit in during the rehearsals. Kasa also like piga rehearsal niko hapo ndani.
Kai pale tu nyuma.
Hapo tu nasikiza tu venye watu wanapiga rehearsal, naona yenyewe watu wanafanyanga kazi. Ile yenye tunaona tu kwa TV, you see the finished product. These guys rehearse every single day. Wasanii wanaingia wakitoka, you name them. Kenya watu wanafanya live walikuwa wanakuja hapo kwetu. And at this time my video production thing, since all the entertainers wanakuja, I ended up meeting all these cool kid entertainers huko. Nikutana watu kama kina Shak the Hanging, akina Trust Wenjiru, Tanasha, nani. Alafu pia mimi ni mtu anajua tu ku settle in any environment. Na blend vizuri sana, tunapiga tu story, tuna vibe. I started brainstorming with them about content. So mimi nilikuwa videographer na shoot to content. So I had access to a lot of things all at once. Ikiwa ni show, naweza ingia show yote free. Ikiwa ni TV show, I know the people already. Kama ni music, I know people. Just like that. But you see, it was through everything I learned from the beginning that has placed me in this specific time.
Trust the process.
So one thing led to the other. Akina Sauti, they had a big gig, Live and Day in Africa tour. And they were working with a certain production team, which did not deliver. Wakona kazi yangu, nimefanya somewhere, wakauliza, kwanza liza Shak specifically, who does your edits? Sema, kitu kijana ameka hapa. Sema, for real, the next day, nini, my hard drives zimeletwa tu kwa meza yangu. Can you hack this? Kijana wako anatafuta pesa, hii ndafanya.
Haraka sana.
Hata sijui nini na edit, lakini nimeshakubali. 4 terabytes.
Say yes and then figure it out later.
Nikasema, mimi nda edit, mimi mbaya sana, don't joke with me. Wakaniletea kazi, nangangana tu editing. And at that time we are having now talks with the team, wanatuma corrections. Now that's how we started getting close with the boys as individuals. Sasa zingine natumwa enda kwa BN, we should content yake akifanya na hii. We just become homies. And you know if you have good vibes, your energy just flows. So we were really good homies with everyone. Until one day BN akasikia nikiimba. Akashanga, kumbe unaweza imba wewe? Sema manze mimi ni msanii. Mbona je niambia? So you know this guy got furious, amekasirika, amesema
usiwahi rudi na kamera hapa tena. He's so uniquely talented manze.
Enda studio kwanza record, ndio ukuje niyo kamera yako. Sema sawa. But since he knew I was a musician from that day henceforth, alikuwa we just lived close to each other hapa Lavi. Alikuwa tu anakam anaambia Nviiri busikiza hivi. Ananichezea kitu, nasikiza niko hiyo ni kali. Alafu I could see the way his arrangement of words. Nasema the way ameshika attention yangu from the word go to the hadi huko mwisho. I'd want to sing and capture someone's attention like that. So I remember the first time he sang alimba gani Nenda Lote. Way back alimba Nenda Lote. Kusikia Nenda Lote nikaandika song pia mimi the same night. Ilikuwa inaitwa Penzi, nikamtumia. Akakuja akaniambia nyingine. Pia mimi nikaandika na mtumia. Sika kwa akiapisha na apisha. Pia sasa juice zina flow. Sasa msanii ameanza kuandika now on another level. Because as compared to how I used to write, that was that eye-opening moment where okay, this is the type of artist I'd want to be. So I used to go for writing sessions na Polycarp, na Savara, tuko na kina Chimano. And at that point during this wakishoot video, mimi niko tu hapo, niko na camera na shoot na cover. Then it got to a point nikasikia Nviiri kuna song fulani uliimba ni kali, si tuiandike. BN was always on that vibe, tuandike song leo, sina usingizi. Hata katikati hiyo siku anakuja tu. So we started writing Melanin. I remember nilikuwa na alafu nilikuwa na progression, and it was just for me it was more of a kind of emotional song. Mimi nilikuwa naona maneno ya heartbreak msanii. Sijaongelelea relationship actually in all these stories sijaguzia relationship.
Tunakam. Awendi hivyo.
Nilikuwa nahangaika kwa relationship. So wanted that song ikue aka heartbreak song, but akakuja tuingize kwa club, tuingie na hii vibe nini.
Yes.
Tukaanza kuicheza. And then we started writing. Ingoma ikakuwa kali, this guy loves it, nikashanga okay. Nikasema sasa this is a collab of me and BN.
Yes.
Ama me and Sauti Sol. Tutachagua baadaye. So while I'm doing my other productions, nakumbuka tukakutana na akaniambia Nviiri, fanya hivi. Don't get attached to one song too much, because I was really attached to that one song ile, and a lot of artists do that. Najua ni hinju itafanya niomoke, najua ni hinju itanimake. Najua wewe ukinishikilia mkono nda make. Yeah.
Man nimemake.
So akaniambia toa your mentality. Yeah, usishikilie. If at all you are a writer, you should be in a position to be writing a lot of things. So usi hold all your fruits in one basket. Kusema sawa. Kumbe this was riding now onto Patoranking kukuja. Patoranking kumbe alikuwa anakuja, and these guys were looking for a song.
Yes.
Bina kanambia point blank, okay, this song would do really well with kina Patoranking. And this is the first time now you'll earn as a songwriter. Yeah, you have a lot of songs, yes, but the song will become bigger with the right people singing it.
Yes.
And alinuzia theory ingine fiti sana, nikaona okay, actually makes sense.
Okay.
Na tukapata na Patoranking nikacheza. This guy loved it. Tukaingia studio that same night. Na siku Sauti alikuwa na meet na Patoranking.
Yes.
I was sent there as a videographer. Yeah, so mimi nimemaliza kushoot, nafaa kuweka kamera nirudishe kwa office. Napiga simu mimi huyu ni Patoranking. Sikurudi huko, nikaweka tu simu off, nikaweka kamera nikafunga, nikaguka msanii. I remember hiyo siku kwanza nilikuwa nimeleta beef kwa office sana. I have the office car, I have the cameras. Simu iko off, sasa usiku niko mahali.
Yes.
Mimi niko na wasanii sasa. Tukacheza, the song was dope, tukaingia studio na tukarecord that same night. Then later on nikarudi home, of course unateteshwa kwa ofisi nini. But I knew it was worth it.
This was a moment for me.
That moment I wouldn't let that go for any other thing. Unajua there are those specific things where you're ready to risk it all, and that was one of it. Kusema kale mnichuje tu wenyewe, I had to live through that moment.
Yeah.
Song ikashika, ikarekodiwa, ikatoka.
Yeah.
Siku ilitoka, Melanin became a whole new sound. Wameandika articles, Sauti Sol have come up with a new sound. And since kwa writing credits waliandika co-written by Nviiri, Nviiri is the X factor why this song sounds new.
Wow.
So my name was even bigger than me. Ili ukienda tu mahali unasema, hey, how you doing? I'm Nviiri. Nviiri wa Melanin. Niko na okay. Mulikuwa mnasema nini watu wa Kayole? Na mjoke.
Tukuomoka ina feeling aje.
Kijana wa Kayole ametoka Korea, sasa ameandikia hit, bongera hit.
In my life I've never seen melanin so dark.
Melanin was
Melanin was so magical to a point where when these guys were performing,
yes,
and they were really trying to mentor me into becoming that big artist, because anytime they're performing, wakienda perform before yanze wananiita kwa stage.
Were you like, I wish I was in the video, I wish this was Patoranking, Sauti Sol featuring Nviiri?
Of course, you think about all these things.
Yeah.
Because sasa uko na haraka sasa ya kukua sasa
star.
Sasa nimekaribia kuomoka, msinishikilie, ndio hiyo opportunity. Yeah, but again, like we said earlier on, you trust the process. You don't force issues. Yeah, you just align yourself and everything.
Was the money good?
Very good.
Oh, okay.
Where? That's the first check nilikulea muziki, nikaona actually muziki inalipa.
Na mimi tu nimeandika.
Hey, tumeandika tu hapa kidogo kidogo. Nimeandika tu check. Naomba shika hiyo kunywa nayo chai.
Yeah.
And considering royalties is an amount that grows with time. So hata nikichukua 2 years later bado ina grow.
Yeah.
But nimepigwa the first check niko.
This was a good one. Ulifanyia nini?
Yes, hatutaongea.
Tuendelee.
Jua tu iliisha.
Iliisha. Hayo kwenda kwa bombe na sigara.
Hapana. 50-50.
50-50. Aya.
Ilienda tu ku upgrade lifestyle.
Yes.
Because you know, uwezi kwa unajita msanii lakini you don't have the look, you don't. So I started becoming that artist who I wanted to be. Naanza kujigroom vizuri. Najichukua more serious, naongeza nguo. I of course help my parents a bit. But the one thing that still stuck in my head was the fact that you can take part in such a project like a big hit like that.
That was big.
That tells you you are on the right path.
Yeah.
Because you know, with everyone that has a product,
Yeah.
their biggest concern is how will it do in the market.
Yeah.
But at this point, nimesha test the waters na niko na ni poa.
Yes.
You have the ability to do it. Because
Yeah.
I remember it was Koroga while he performed. Then asikia watu tunaimba, she's a heartbreak, and niko wow, wow, wow. I got really emotional.
Yeah.
And nikasema, okay, I think I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready. If this is what my music could do, I don't know why I've been waiting for way too long. Ile self-doubt ikapotea, kila kitu ikapotea. Nika dive. Sasa my bio ikachange. Nviiri songwriter.
Yeah.
Sasa people used to outsource me for my writing skills.
Yes.
And the more I write for people, the more hata skill inajisharpen.
Yeah.
And pia pesa ni nzuri. Nilikonga, all of a sudden, I was in a position hata kuambia mtu songwriting probably at 100K. And since ni Nviiri wa Melanin, yeah,
Why
that
not?
is genuine.
Why not?
Yeah. And I remember sasa, at this point after Melanin, still, bado sijaomoka, remember.
Yeah.
I sat down with my producer Gordon nikamwambia sasa, this is the time. Tumestall for too long, we've seen what our work can do, we've seen the potential. Let us give ourselves just 100 days to make it. 100 days. Today's day. When I did to record video, day one. I remember even some of our guys that were working with wanacheka tu wanasema, "Eh, nyinyi mtakumbuka hii siku." Ndio wakumbusha day 100 tutawakumbusha. Sema sawa. So day 1, day 2. Hatujui venye tuta make it, but we just know in 100 days we need to be somewhere in our career.
Yeah.
So the countdown starts. We ended up doing a song, and this song was called Penzi.
Yeah.
Sijampata mpenzi kama we. Hey, it was a love song. Msanii alikuwa amefall in love. Well, but just so you know, by day 100, this song ilikuwa kwa the trend. Na tulikuwa tumeitwa interview. Tulikuwa tumefanya interviews kadhaa. And these were things we've never done. We've never been on these TV interviews. Nimekaa hapo as Nviiri the Storyteller na Godo. We were performing Tuko 10/10. That was such a big move. And that was, trust me, day 100 hivi pap. Ndio muziki ilikuwa kwa radio stations zote. Na tumeanza kupata recognition.
Yes.
South Soul pia amechukua amepost kwao, napata feedback, my numbers zimeanza kugrow, guys wameanza kuona yenyewe there's a new act.
Yes.
Halafu tukarudi tukakaa chini kaambia Gordon, unaona determination sasa next ni nini? 50 days.
Yes.
Kaambia 50 days, repeat because once you have a taste of that glory and the formula, hakuna kitu inakusimamisha.
You are good to go.
Day 50 days ndio hiyo. Release the second song. And this cash nilikuwa napata kwa songwriting, kwa other to small gigs, na zika zote kwa my own production. Tunalipia video shoot, tunalipia nini, tunahaya vitu, manguo. And we did a whole production. Day 50, tulikuwa chat wapenzi, we are already doing acoustic covers, tumeanza kuita 2 gigs tudogo. Sema alafu sasa tumeanza kuwa sasa recognized by other artists.
Yeah.
But then at that time bado company inaenda chini, hakuna do sasa. So you're struggling to be an artist, to do all these things, but your main source of income hakuna sasa.
So you are famous and broke.
Yeah, sasa hapa you not even fully famous, but you're really really broke.
Yeah.
Ile broke hadi unakuwa mgonjwa. Kwa broke hadi
kichwa inauma,
kichwa inauma, unasikia fever hivi, kumbe ni pesa tu hauna.
Vibaya.
Sasa at that point we started questioning, are we doing the right thing? Are we on the right career? Are we?
And don't we always, especially when you are almost at that
point, you can imagine.
Kuomoka, you start questioning yourself so much.
Sasa we start making desperate moves. Kuna watu wengine hata they're not even worth writing a song for, but we write for them just to get that extra cash.
Yeah.
Right now, instead of even releasing a whole video, tunaweza toa lyric video. Since I can edit, I just do a quick lyric video to release.
Man.
No structure, uko tu kwa panic mode, uko guy.
Yes.
Hii kitu tusipoishikilia we fail.
Yeah.
Alafu you see your peers are growing, people already living life, wengine wameoa, wengine wameanza kudrive magari, wengine wanafanya nini.
Na uko tu hapa.
Uko hapa nasema this life ilikuwa inaenda hivi, then imekuwa stagnant for the longest time.
Did you feel like quitting at some point?
Yeah, of course, you always think of it. but it's just a thought. It's not physically possible because that's our life.
Yeah.
We've invested everything in it. This is the plan A, B, C, hadi ya mwisho.
There's no plan B actually.
No
This is plan A and plan A.
And you know, I always thought all the skills I gained, engineering, computers and nini, I can easily fall back on those things and just collect my life where it was.
Yeah.
But I'm not passionate about any of them, so we are in it. Tukaanza tu kujipea tu moyo, we got this. So every morning tunakuja tunaambiana we're going to take over Africa. Tuka name sasa style yetu ya muziki.
Yeah.
Urban Africa, where the Urban Africa sisi tunaenda ku take over, mtoto na BT. We would even wake up tunajipea awards. Best R&B, best nini tunajipea tunajichocha. Ile umefika point of desperation sasa you live that life.
Yeah.
Sasa sisi we are making it. Sisi ni wale wabaya.
Yeah.
And it so happens sasa during us preparing for this big break.
Yeah.
South Soul finally papo wanataka kufungua record label, but hawatafungua. Wanafanya nini? Tumepewa audition, wameka gig, a small gig, wakatuita sisi wasanii wote. So me, I'm just wondering, these guys have been with them all this time.
What's this?
I've helped them write songs, nini.
What's this?
Mbona mnanika tena kwa audition nyingine? But nikama acha niende. But pia nikasema that it's no excuse to have it easy. If you need that big break, you have to work for it.
Yeah.
Kachukua godo tuende tupige kazi wewe. Tukaenda, at that time the Storyteller beat had caught on. Nilikuwa nishaandika ma songs. I performed my songs. So I'm putting more weight into my lyrics. People were laughing, people were feeling hilarious, people were singing along. Nikasema manze godo ile kitu tulikuwa tunatafuta ndio tumepata. And it was the first time I saw an audience wamechill, the way they received the song, our music and our whole set. Nikaona we've done the right thing. We have done the right thing.
Yeah.
And after that point nikatulia tu ile it is what it is. Sasa whatever comes next ndakubali tu.
Yeah.
I've done my part. And before you knew it, so generation pombe sigara and considering
hapana si poa kitu unafanya evu hiyo ya pombe sigara oye.
Oh pombe sigara naweza wacha bila kungangana lakini hawa sichana manze vile nawapenda ni kama laana. And imagine by the time I was releasing Pombe Sigara, okay, finish.
Good job. I love it.
Yeah, but by the time I was releasing Pombe Sigara, it was 2 years old. Can you imagine that song?
Damn.
So you can imagine holding on to such a gold. At the time itakuwa sasa mature and ready for the universe to accept it. Lord knows can get to ile time ainge make any impact.
Exactly.
Nimekuja Soul Generation imetokea.
Yeah.
And we hit the ground running. Tulikuwa na njaa ile ukikanyaga hivi chini injo life tulikuwa tunataka.
Yes.
And ever since, I mean, I've always reminded myself where I came from, and the goals are even bigger. Hence, people still wonder, hey, mnakwanga humble like Soul Generation,
yeah.
We're all chilled, we're easy, but I feel like humility comes with hard work.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, if you always have new goals to conquer, you will never be satisfied where you are.
Yeah.
And that will force you to be humble.
Yes.
Just knowing the worth. Unajua ukiona 10 bob yenye umefutolea jasho, hautanunulia changana. Lakini 10 bob umeokota, hiyo hata unaweza tupa. Yeah, so we've worked so hard to be where we are.
Yeah.
That our priorities may change. I always pictured myself to be an artist, niko pale juu celeb nini, but once I'm here, it's not the same. You still have to work every single day. You have to push yourself. You have to grind.
You have to keep learning.
Keep learning. I mean, and the new kids wanazaliwa kuna skills hapa nje. Hawezi lala. We are here for a season. Season yako kama ilikuwa 2 years and you did not utilize your 2 years. That is it.
That's it.
Because in every transition of my life, I was there for a season. But what do you do with your season? And also, how do you prolong it? Because seasons...
How do you remain relevant?
How do you remain relevant? You know, it's by growing. You need to sell new experiences all the time. Dachoka kuona the same you.
Yes.
Yeah. At some point, and guys, and we've seen it very well with a couple of artists, and South Soul have been the best example. These people reinvent themselves every single time.
It's the consistency for me with these guys, and the ability to take in new people and want to see them succeed.
Exactly.
How is it like, you know, just hanging around Akina BN, being in such a company? How is that like?
Tuko mtaani, man. There's a family you never thought you'd have at the end of the day. You know, ungedhani watu wako update, but no.
They're easy.
Tumechill za wewe unadu nini? Asa tushi hivi. Tuchape hivi maraundi niko na stress zangu kadhaa, we talk about it and I come back sawa. Niaje, I have a song nimekwama, tupatane. Yeah. Even our turnover in music sasa ni mingi, tunakutana all of us hivi kwa studio. One song inalala within 1 hour. Chini. Another 1 hour.
The support
Chini.
is real.
Chini, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't compete amongst ourselves. We want the best for everyone. And we all understand we sound different, we have our different strengths, and we are our own artists.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, my candle doesn't get any dimmer if I light yours. You get?
I love that. Yeah.
So the more candles kwanza I light, the brighter this place will be.
Yeah.
So tunashikilia tu hivyo, najua kuna siku mimi ndakwama, mtu nishikia mkono ata nishikilie, you know. That's one of the best investments, investing in another human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the same thing me I've always believed in, and I've been trying to do that as much as I can. Yeah.
Are you living your dream?
Mama, I made it.
Oh, man.
Mama, we made it. We right on time. It was a long way here. Lakini tumefika fine. We'll be here for quite some time. Tafuta ukuta ya kujishikilia. Maji teremusha kama River Nile.
You are amazing. I will not stop saying this because your voice is so beautiful, you know. And the fact that we can see your journey where, you know, I keep telling people, hakuna kitu kama microwave success.
Yeah.
People want to wake up today and become stars tomorrow. Yeah. And it's impossible.
It is impossible.
It's impossible. I'm glad to hear you are living
you
your
have
dream.
to be ready, actually. And that is my microwave success. People think they are that way because after I exploded and became the storyteller, hey, where have you been? Umelitokea tu katokea.
Yes.
No one knows the whole story. Probably these are the same people laughing wakinisikia kitambo nikiimba, but they didn't know it was me.
Yeah.
Then say, hey, uliamka tu katokea. No. Just preparation met opportunity, now pop.
And here I am. And of course, you know, there are challenges along, but there's something I've noticed, because we have to talk about your relationship, because why not, you know? Why not? You've been very private about it. So what made you finally come out with Elodie and be like, let me put my relationship out there? First, how is Elodie?
Elodie, she's doing good.
Yeah.
She's good.
So why was it important for you guys to come out and finally say, you know, we are a couple, let's put it out there?
That was the last thing I wanted, just so you know. And again, I never thought I would date someone in the limelight. I mean, I do your life equal private for the longest time.
Yeah.
Let me do my grind. Nikirudi home. Home is somewhere else. You know, home is where you find your peace. But it so happened, huwezi chagua wacha roho ipende. Yeah, we've been friends for 8 years actually.
Yeah.
So tukapatana, tukaflow, and we held it together for a really long time. Not necessarily long time, but for months. Yeah. Without telling people in a relationship or anything, tumeshikilia, because we also needed to understand ourselves. Are we strong enough for the public? Because public wanaweza kuwa ruthless na wewe.
Sana vibaya
kunaweza kuwa na rumors, kunaweza kuwa na nini. So if you're not strong, we will not be able to handle that. So that was our decision, that we just keep it on the low until we are both ready to be known. And again, you know, it affects our brands in a way. You know, we like to still continue to be Nviiri, the ladies man, Bwana Pombe Sigara, Bwana Single Boy.
Yeah.
Dynamics change. Yeah, and for her, will she continue still being the same role model? I'm a nini. Now I'm still the young YouTube shorty. I'm now a fully grown-up woman. You know, dynamics really change.
Yeah.
You need to have your things in order before what wajue. We tried as much as possible, and by the time people came to find out about it, we were already confident about it. Na pia tukamwa, it is what it is, mutafanya nini.
What is it about her? Tuambie, what is it about her?
She's smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course, if it's beauty, we have a lot of beautiful women. People are beautiful hapa nje. But her mind is dope. Interesting.
Yeah.
And akuchangamsha ile lazima pia uko on toes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to date someone who I'm taking care of as I'm your big brother, I'm as your dad.
Yeah.
I need someone to challenge me, someone you grow up with. yeah, mtu amenifunza vitu. Yeah.
Okay. Has she learned to cope with some of your lyrics like pombe, sigara, hawa or nini? How has she learned to
she's
separate
open-minded.
art and the person that you are?
She definitely has, and she's open-minded. She's also a creative.
Yes.
And before even we decided to settle, she had to see the real me and the artist. And of course kuna stereotypes hapa nje kuhusu wasanii and the stories especially about the likes of us. It was just a matter, are these rumors true? Who is the real Nviiri? And the moment she got to see that, I was more confident. Pia nikasema, now we're good to go. Because also the last thing I'd want is someone to judge me based on stereotypes ama the things you've heard outside. Mi nataka nikuje home niambiwa, Nviiri alishutu mtu mahali akamuua.
Yeah.
Then when I come back home, unacheka unasema, that's a lie. Then Nviiri I know cannot do such a thing. Achana now, that's a joke. So what are we eating?
Yeah.
Such kind of a relationship. If it's not like that, sitaki.
She brings a lot of peace.
Yeah, there is space. There is space.
Okay, of course.
And my goofy side.
Yeah, because I've seen that.
Tunakuanga cartoons sana.
Yeah,
I found my fellow cartoon.
Yeah. Were you impressed by her appearance on your video?
I've seen her a lot.
Yes.
She's always pretty.
Yeah.
In the video, she was extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
My focus was just more on how we appear as actors and if the chemistry was there.
Yeah.
And well, she did deliver. Alifanya pia mi watu wanasema Nviiri unaweza act.
Yeah.
Mi kazi yangu nilikuwa tu kukasirika kwa video, kuangalia kando. She did the acting, amevuruga. Yeah, she has quite a character.
Yes. You did an amazing
Shukran.
job. Yeah, all of you guys.
And thank her for accepting to be in the video, you know.
Yeah,
considering in video itakuwa hapo. Sila haikuwa lazima.
Yeah.
I remember even she told me, I'll definitely want to be in the video. And don't worry about anything. I don't need to get paid. I don't need to get styled or anything. I got you. I'm here for you.
It's the support.
Nikamwambia usijali baby, you know. Tutashikiliana hapa, you know. You support my grind, I support your grind.
Yes. You support her the same
It's
way?
partnership, definitely.
You always show up for her too. I love that.
Yeah.
For people who are dating right now, you know, the world is pretty, things are happening. Today, a lot of people don't have faith in relationships. What would you like to tell, especially people who are young and in this dating circle?
I believe people get into relationships for the wrong reasons. They really try to fulfill their own desires through a relationship, and once that is not met, things fall apart. You know, you have to be a complete individual, meeting another complete individual, then hizo kesi zingine sort out mkiendelea. You get?
Yeah.
That's one. Two, it's a partnership. It's not an ownership. So the things I don't even follow up with, you know. As long as this partnership yetu tukikaa hivi na wewe, we'll make millions, baby. Yeah, let's make millions. We can be able to make the whole world bow. Waseme nyinyi ndio wale wa big. Yeah, then we do that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to own you or control you for such things to happen. So that hata siku nda kwa shida, I can count on you to come through.
Yeah.
Siku pia mimi niko kwa shida. You know, it's that friendship first, everything, then your desires baadaye.
Mumeambiwa mtaachana tu?
Mara mingi.
Premium tears.
Mara mingi tumeambiwa. But sasa ndafanya nini? Like I said, if the partnership, I respect the partnership more and the friendship more.
Yes.
You know, dynamics, the relationships ziko kila mahali. Watu wanapatana wanaachana.
Yeah.
But there is not something I'm thinking of.
Yes.
I'm not a pessimist, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are pretty open-minded. I love that. Moving forward, because you know, there's relationship and there's you being such an amazing artist. What are we looking forward to?
I released the first EP called The Kitenge.
Oh, yeah. Can I just tell you how amazing you are? Like, I just think it's important for us to give people their flowers while they are still alive. And you know, when you say EP, I don't think a lot of our audience understand what an EP is. So maybe tell us what's an EP, because Ben Soul just launched his.
He also released his
what's an
on
EP?
Friday. It's an extended play.
Yeah.
It's just a shorter version of an album. An album can have you in 10, 11 songs to Chris Brown alitutolia 40 songs kwa album.
Yeah.
But my EP has 6 songs.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben Soul I think has 4 songs.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a body of work that you release at one time, just and for me, Kitenge was such a huge deal because I wanted to pass the agenda of me being the storyteller.
Yeah.
The EP from that first song to the last one is a storyline. How you met a girl, you fell in love, the party life, the conflict, mkaachana, then the tears. Yeah. I was selling my story as the storyteller, and it actually really came out how I wanted it to come out, and the response was amazing.
Amazing.
How people were talking about it, and finally people understood who the storyteller was. Unajua tangu enzi za pombe sigara, no one understood. Walikuwa wanajua au ni jamaa wa party tu. Bwana sherehe, bwana nini. But now you have people talking about, oh, when you're unable to get a relationship, Nviiri is singing about that. When you're depressed in your relationship, Nviiri is singing about that. When you're thinking about what. So now I've covered a lot of areas in this specific EP. And I believe that has cemented my name as the storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are proud of yourself?
Happy, very happy.
Is mom proud?
Mom is excited. Mama anangoja tu kuona mbona hii mpesa yangu ili.
Hujatuma kitu?
Mbona hujatuma kitu?
Na una trend? Acha hizo.
No, I usually send. I send all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her focus isn't even on my music. I'll say, yo, do what makes you happy. Yeah, just remember who you are, you remember where you came from, and always remember God.
Always remember God.
Always pray.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And before we conclude, what legacy are you looking forward to leaving behind, and where can people find you?
I want to just prove to people that your mind is very much capable of achieving anything. You know, you get to decide your path. You're the captain of your own ship. Yeah, and there's nothing as timeline if I'm at this age, it's said and done. I think you're 50, you can still make changes, you know?
Yeah.
So move with your mind, train your mind and train your spirit and your emotions. Once the inside of you is more focused and directed towards one goal, the physical world will follow. Once you see it in your head, everything else follows.
And I know this is common, but where can people find you?
Where can people find me? Nviiri the Storyteller, Nviiri on all platforms except iTunes, iTunes, Twitter, Nviiri baby. Okay. The Storyteller was a mouthful. Yeah. I get to share. Yeah. Other than that, my music is streaming everywhere to Tuko Spotify, Boomplay, iTunes, where we've been leading, YouTube, where we've been leading.
Yes, for real though. Good job.
Hey, God has been great. You know.
Sasa si utuimbie kakitu tufunge hii show.
Quarter west, baby tumejiseti, we on the highway. Tukafunga breki, tukaanza bishana, asking who is Diana, vipi mnajuana. I swear tumejibetray, baby tumejiseti, cause love isn't here right now. I guess we'll never know. Mali hii story ingeenda.
Tuendelee tulipoanza.
Tulichoanza. Baby tumalize kinachokwaza, baby ziandike, punguza drama, baby zitushike, washa kishada. I don't wanna argue, kako sawa miko sawa, kako sawa miko sawa. Akzile vitu tulipanga, ukanishukisha namba, na juna misi hiki tanda, zile visa na visanga. Akzile vitu tulipanga, ukanishukisha namba.
Oh, good job.
Thank
Such
you
a
very
huge
much.
fan. I'm
Thank
not
you very
even
much.
shy about it. Such a huge fan. Even the director who shot the video, that was wonderful.
Yeah, that's our in-house producer. Director came.
Yes, that was beautiful. I feel like we are up there, you know, and thank you so much for putting us uko juu. We are no longer like, hey, lazima to emulate watu wengine. We are here saying we have our own soul generation. We have Nviiri hapa, we have amazing directors, amazing quality. Why not support our own?
For sure,
so you keep putting us on the map, hapo.
Sure.
All the best in everything that you do. And thank you so much for even joining us here on the show. And I hope, guys, you've been inspired, you've been motivated. For me, the take home is clearly trust the process, hakuna shortcut, and put in the work. So how about we show this man some love? Go to his YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed. Remember how we do it, guys. Go subscribe, comment, share, and do not forget to say Tuko sent you.
And thank you for your platform, by the way.
Oh.
A lot has been shared through this platform, and it's touching lives. Best believe you're doing a really good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We do this because we are supported by you guys and you believe in our work, and we want to continue bringing inspirational content. So hata ukitoa album, utoe EP ingine, we come on.
I'll be honored, honestly.
We hope this is not the last time we are seeing you on Tuko. So thank you so much. If you want to share your story with me, my email is right here. Remember to send me a well-detailed brief of your story, and if it's worth sharing, we'll definitely sit here na to inspire Kenya. A huge thank you to my director and legendary camera person Edwin Ochieng for always taking his time and shooting these things and making sure they get to you right on time, and our amazing editor who also happens to be our assistant camera person today, David Mureithi, for compiling this interview and always giving our audience the best. My name is Lynn Gugi. Till next time, uko sawa niko sawa. Bye bye.